Hello, everybody. Welcome to UFO UAP Ladies Night at the Quantum Witch Cafe. I want to give a thank you to everybody in the chat that is here and is always here. I appreciate you. If you're listening to this on Anomalous Podcast Network, thank you. I will add. I have Akashi's information in the description, and I have Artemis's information in the description if you want to follow them and see how you could support their channel. I will add Kelly's because she was a surprise
No.
today.
I'm here
Okay,
to
don't add
support
Kelly?
these beautiful
Okay.
bitches. That's all I'm here
So,
for.
if you wanna stalk Kelly, just let us know, and we'll get you her information. And
I'm
also,
just here
there's
to support these girls.
so tonight we're not gonna be talking about UFOs. I know, like, I'm sure it's gonna come back to UFOs because one of us is gonna take it there. But tonight we're gonna talk about past lives. So, I think that Artemis and I have found some stuff we want to talk about, and Akashi just like knows everything, so she's Akashi. I'm just kidding. so we're just gonna talk about it because it's very intriguing to people. People always have questions about, I think I had a past life flashback or stuff like that. So we've got kind of like the woo and then some real life some very well, I found one really compelling case that always comes up anytime that I'm trying to like convince somebody. So we can talk about that. So before we do that, if you guys want to go around, introduce yourself really fast, just in case people are listening to audio only and they haven't seen you before, which I'm assuming everybody has, but we'll start with Akashi. So you are new to coming on other channels, right?
Yeah, it's like I just went on Spaghetti Lee the other day, and I'm like, actually, that's like yesterday. I don't even know. Time doesn't matter anymore. It was amazing. So yeah, I'm pretty new to this. I am an associate producer for Calling All Beings, so you can always find me there. And then always supporting Deb's Data Dojo and all that cool stuff. So
very
supporting
cool.
the entire community, which I love, including
Artemis,
Kelly.
You really do.
Pricilla,
everybody.
Yeah, you're amazing. You're amazing. So thanks for coming tonight. We haven't had you on a ladies' night before, and just throwing it out there, we are not sexist. If you're a gentleman or a dude or whatever you consider yourself, if you want to come on ladies' night, you can message any of us, and we'll drag you in at some point. And I'm gonna go to Kelly next. So Kelly, everybody knows who you are, but in case some random person is listening that doesn't know who you are, what do you do, and why are you here on this planet?
Well, for the last 20 years, I've been a video producer, and I don't want to run around with the video camera because I'm 40 and it is hard on my back. So what I am more focusing on and what I've been doing for the last 5 years is video strategic marketing. So anyways, I'm not going to go into like all the details, but yeah, so if you want to build your channel or do any video marketing, been doing it ever since it started up because I am almost 40 and been doing it for that long. So gross. What I
don't want to hear it. I've got a pretty big birthday coming up, so
what I really like
35.
What I really like is
we're gonna crank it up.
ASMR.
I love 42, like as well.
Huh?
No, I'm gonna be 38 on February 10th.
You said big birthday.
Oh,
that's a big birthday. I'm getting
I know.
Every birthday after 35 is a big birthday.
I do. I swear. No, but I just know how. So everyone right now wants to do video. That's great. I want to do video. But the great thing is I know how to do video marketing and get it out. So the right people at the right time in the right demographic can see the videos that is good for you, that can see the end, that's going to give you the right amount of money.
You are a strategist. That sounds like a lot to look into. So if you guys need some videos out strategically placed,
so what?
To get
Yeah.
money
So you know what I'm going to do is I have been making a lot of how-to guides And I think for the ladies, like the guys, they can just go fuck off. No, I'm just kidding. But no, again, and I said this before with Artemis. I fucking love Artemis. I'm sorry for my. I love Artemis. I love you, Pricilla. I love you, Chris. Anytime, like I can set you guys up at least with a strategy to make you set up to at least have that strategy within that what you have to have in order to have a
Just have things like flow more, right? And go where they're supposed to in a more organized way, it sounds like. Yeah, so
well, that's the
that's something
thing.
to
Like
think about.
I'm doing things for UCR and it's not consistent. And it's like, why aren't you doing that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, anybody that doesn't take your advice, you do this for a living. So listen to her. She knows what's up. But we're going to get to some serious Kelly-ness in a little bit. And
Oh,
Artemis,
I got some
we know who you are.
stuff.
But on the off chance that some random person finds this that doesn't know who you are, who is Artemis Prime of the J and A show?
I am dropping the Prime, actually. Just going to be Artemis now. Just crazy. But yeah.
Oh, what?
I'm sorry. Let's back this up.
I mean,
No. Let's back this up.
We didn't get a vote.
I love
mean, it's your
Artemis
name.
Prime.
Wait, I saw Artie going around
But,
recently.
like,
So
it is pretty random. I'm still Artemis Prime. I mean, like, it's just a nickname now. But
I mean, like, do I stop
I
putting that on everything?
I changed my handle and everything
I saw
to
that.
just like Artie _ the J and A. No, sorry, Janda show.
Well, she's Artie now, guys, but she's from the Josh and Artemis show,
But-
and
Yeah,
I call it House Jordamus.
and I love that. Oh my god, when you shared that, me and Josh both
Just
could, like,
House
really
Jordamus
I love it.
officially.
We need
Yeah.
a sign or something that goes in the house.
Oh my god, yes. Like Game of Thrones. We can totally do like a Game of Thrones
Game of
type logo. Oh my god, yeah.
that would be
So
fun. Oh
good.
yeah, you were a video. Akashi does a lot of cool videos too. I think like that's the first time I've
Oh,
ever seen
good.
my face on
That's,
somebody
like,
else's body. In a like I don't think
Yeah,
I've
we
ever
did
done
the
any weird things like
refaces.
that. So it was funny though, but I didn't even realize it was me the first time I was scrolling through when you did that video. And then I looked after you said you made one, I found it and I was like, "Oh crap, that's my face." Like
Yeah, a lot of people don't see it. And yeah, I did a video of you. I did everybody here.
You did
but it was
everybody
funny
here?
because I didn't know anybody as much as I do now. And if we go back in the video, I screwed up all the names. So I'm so sorry. You guys all have characters, but you probably have the wrong
tried.
name brand. So,
it's awesome.
but now
It's
I
awesome.
I totally know now. My girl.
No, well, it's fun. So because you do a good job at it. So
Great.
Artemis is with the Josh and Artemis show. They are definitely in the description underneath, or in you know where the description is, that thing.
Yeah.
So they are there. Their link tree is there. You can follow them. They have a lot of cool guests. Again, not just UFO. They cover a lot of different things like mental health, right? And you want to cover more fringe topics in physics this year.
Yeah,
All
for
of it.
sure. Just kind of explore. I don't know. We also are really interested in like ancient history and ancient civilization. So, just kind of dive into that. I did recently find somebody who I messaged in regards to. I hear feedback. Am I the only one?
I'm not hearing anything.
No? Okay. Anyway, sorry. So yeah.
Artemis, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can't hear you. You look great though. I miss you.
I can
You need to
hear.
come to my
Okay,
house.
can everybody hear everybody?
I can't hear you. That's okay.
I can
I'll just
hear
shut up right now.
everybody. So
Yeah. So
Yeah, I can't hear shit.
yeah, we kind of want to just dive into a bunch of those subjects, and then we also have our new segment, The Outer Realms, which we do Saturday nights, and that's kind of like, where we can connect with people in the chat. Like we bring the live stream out and just like talk with guests as well, but kind of a more relaxed setting, have some drinks, just talk about whatever comes up. This weekend we're going to do a whole paranormal ghost kind of subject, and we're gonna have that one time I was abducted on. And spooky, so that's gonna be really fun. So like we're just trying to do like different things like that, and having like a weekly show is just also a bit more consistent for everybody, because we do tend to book interviews mostly on the person's schedule, so it's kind of, it's not always like Tuesdays or whatever. It's kind of just whatever the guest can also manage. So yeah, we want it to be a little more consistent, and I don't know, just have some fun and just connect. Like, we spread this message to connect with everybody and grow a community, but we really want to put action into those words, and we don't want to just say like, oh yeah, we're all one big community, but not not do anything to actually prove that, or to change that, or to grow that. So we're really trying this year to do that and put our words into action and just have fun.
I'm excited about you talking about ancient civilizations, because that's like my obsession. So, I'm like, I love it. So
yeah, I'm the same.
Somebody talking about it.
Definitely want to.
Not many do on our space.
Yeah, which is crazy because there's so many. Like I've just seen so much in our history that really just tells what's going on now, or that we've definitely seen some things before, and just I don't know, how did they contribute in that way before, if they were here, and like if aliens were here, and just
right.
I don't know. I'm really interested in that. I have only scratched the surface, so I can't really speak.
You'll learn so much.
Intelligently on it yet, but definitely interested in it. So
it's a
rabbit hole.
There's a lot out there for
rabbit hole, and it's awesome.
That's definitely like one of the reasons I started the channel. Like my first video was solo, and it was about Vimana from India. So I love that too, but it's so hard to present to people because they associate it with ancient aliens, which is so stupid, because they sensationalized it on that show. And there is a lot of evidence, especially in Sumeria, or like those. It was one of the first recorded histories. So they have so many beings coming from the sky that do all these things. And if you look at the gods in general, they're always popping out of the sky or out of another dimension, basically. So it's definitely an interesting topic.
It's always sky people. It's across the board.
Yes, it is. Sky people, for sure.
Yeah. But I like to call it ancient civilizations to avoid the stigma of assuming it's ancient aliens, because honestly, I mean, it could be that we were so evolved back then.
That's what I think. I think
that got wiped out, and everything that we knew about the earth and the power of earth, is somehow that connection was broken. So who knows?
I think that too, because look at everything that they're finding in science that has already been taught in like the ancient Indian texts. Like, we knew this, guys. What happened? And now everybody's like, oh, this great discovery. It's like, no, you need to read history. It's not a discovery. You're just you're describing it through your science, something you understand. But I feel like the ancients had such a grasp on it. See, here we are talking about aliens and UFOs already. We're not even. I guess I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it.
You can't really avoid it, I think.
No, it's because everything goes back to that. I think that all of us are kind of here on this topic. Like, we're kind of like drawn in for whatever reason, and everybody's reason is different, but we all are here to talk about this and to spread the word about it and add legitimacy to it. Even the woo ancient history stuff that people think is woo is actually not, because that's their history and that's what they saw. And that's how they described it. So yeah, I can't wait to see what you guys do with that.
Yeah, I mean, we're just working on some guests, and then but I heard on Spaghetti Lee's show, Akashi Cris, that you were really into ancient civilizations and stuff, and I was like thinking, man, we need to have a conversation with her too. So
there's several people. Flair is into it in bottled water as well.
I think more people are into it than you think. I just think a lot of people don't talk about it because they don't want to sound crazy. They don't want to sound like ancient aliens, like it was aliens. We don't think that. Not everybody thinks that, but there is evidence from people coming from the sky with these crazy contraptions that they're flying in, and it's represented all over the world and all the way back to recorded history and maybe before that. So I think that's another kind of like stigma that we need to break next, besides obviously the obvious stigma. But that's another one. Like the ancients knew more than people are giving them credit for. Just because they don't speak your language of science or your language of whatever you speak or you accept or no, it doesn't mean that it's less legitimate than what you're saying.
Yeah,
for sure. There's a lot of evidence in what we've already found, and like even in like hieroglyphs and petroglyphs and stuff, like what we've, and like just like drawings I've seen. I feel like it was somewhere in Australia or something, but what is it called?
Nazca lines.
Nazca lines.
Oh, the Nazca lines.
Well, even in Australia, there's a tribe there too that is it's one of the oldest in the world. So
yeah. So like, you know,
is Josh behind the curtain? You're like
Yeah.
line.
Oh my God, is he?
You know what the light? It's our green screen.
I swear, if
Like,
a
the
drink
light-
pops out of the curtain, I'm gonna start cracking up. Like through the curtain, like
oh my God, everybody will go deaf because the scream that I would let out if somebody was behind me.
Oh, I love
it. Like, I don't know how fast I can run up the stairs because I'm in the basement, but I will try my best.
You'll be okay.
So,
You survive one ghost, you'll survive another.
Yeah,
But on that
I'm
note,
on the other side.
the past life thing, a lot of people have fascinations with ancient civilizations because they've had some sort of like interest in it that they can't explain, right? So what is like the ancient civilization that each of you feels most drawn to and why?
Oh. I don't know. I mean,
okay, I'm gonna have to go.
That's a Chris
everything
question.
comes back to Sumerians, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, everything seems to, you know, if you look for patient zero, everybody winds up in the Sumerians. But I mean, my obsession right now is all about Göbekli Tepe and when the world happened there and who was there, which we don't know. So that, you know, so in civilization unknown, the one that I'm interested in. So
yeah.
Well, Artemis, what are you researching them? What do you feel drawn to? Like, you know, I know you said that you're still like diving into it. So
yeah, I'm really
what have you seen lately? Like what is on your list? Like, oh, I need to look into this or I need to look into that. Is there?
I mean, I'm fascinated with Egypt. I always have been. Like, it's cheesy, but like, you know, when The Mummy came out, I was obsessed with The Mummy. Like, I loved that movie. I wanted to be the girl.
It wasn't a young Brandon Fraser at all, huh? It was this.
No, it wasn't at all him. It was clearly the movie. No, but no, but I've always thought that it was so, like, I don't know, it's in general, not even just UFOs, but just seeing a whole other world that existed before your own and that was so different is really fascinating to me. I don't know, just in general, like the way that their architecture was, the way that they lived, the way that they thought, the way that they just lived their lives and so differently. And I don't know, so that in general really interests me. But I mean, with UFOs, like I've seen, I haven't done a ton of research yet, so I really am just like
no, I mean, like it doesn't have to be UFO. Like in general, like that was the question. Like
definitely around
ancient Egypt,
like the Sphinx, because like that's really interesting.
There's so many mysteries about it
around the world, really, and how they're connected. So, I mean,
and they found 3 more Sphinx figures not too long ago that when they were maintaining one of the temples. So
yeah, they found a second Sphinx.
yeah,
or
it was
Sphinx, you know, type.
little,
So I haven't
yeah,
seen that yet.
But
Yeah.
that's definitely interesting. No, that was the question. You answered it. It doesn't have to be UFO related tonight. We're talking about just old things and past life stuff. And the reason I asked that is because a lot of people that feel drawn to a past or to a certain civilization often get like dreams about that civilization. So it makes them wonder, you know, because
I dream of like a future. I think I don't think I dream of like this weird place that I feel is like not Earth and of like future era. It's weird. It's always like this world that I dream of.
I think that we talked about this before.
I still dream of that place.
Yeah, because we were talking when we were talking about dreams.
I don't know. It's
Who the hell is this guy?
What?
Uh-oh.
Okay, we got a troll.
We got a bot.
Hold on, let me get on my YouTube. I need to make an
Bye-bye,
admin.
Hitler. Bye, Nazis. Bye-bye.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I don't have an admin for tonight, which is
It's okay. I know. I should start thinking of doing that.
I'm wondering if I should put Josh on if he wants to do it because he's in the
Do it. Give us wrench access. Do you know how to do that?
Wrenches. Everybody gets a wrench. That's what Cody Wabach
Ooh,
did. We get a wrench. We're
All right. Can you ask Josh if he can moderate tonight?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Totally
I knew you were
behind
behind
the
the curtain.
freaking
Okay, so I think
No,
I just
he's
need.
right behind my screen. That's
Okay,
where my
Josh,
couch
can you
is.
poke your head out of the hole? Just kidding. Okay, I think I added you. Let me know if it
He's
works.
telling me to smile more. Is he doing like the mom coaching thing? Smile, smile,
Smile.
smile.
And kick
smile.
Mr.
Well,
Hitler
what
out
he
if it
does
works.
is
Because I don't even know how to kick
laugh
anybody
and
out.
It works.
Poor Josh. Hi, Josh.
Yeah, so we okay. I think I got rid of him. Sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to remove his comments because it's horrible. If you're listening to audio,
it's
we've
not
got somebody saying some Nazi and wannabe satanic stuff because 666 actually isn't the number of the beast, and they have not done their research in numerology. So
there.
Boom.
oh yeah, Nazi
God.
party needs to read more. All right. Well, I don't know if that worked, but hopefully Josh is a guy now. So
Let's see. Josh typed something in the chat.
Yeah, it's worked.
okay, awesome.
Be the bouncer.
Look at us,
Be
we're
the
blue
bouncer.
if anybody else wants to make us a blue wrench, go for it too.
So the reason people are drawn to their past lives is because of, sort of like a longing to another lifetime. And for you, you're dreaming about a future Earth, possibly, or a future place.
Yeah.
And that's weird with the dreams because your soul actually works. You know what I mean? And that's when we start experiencing these timeless periods where we are able to see things, and people have a lot of hints in their dreams as to what their future or past might be as we see it as future and past, because in the dream world things kind of get really skewed, like time isn't how it is here. And we've all had those dreams where like, oh, we woke in the dream we're here, and then all of a sudden we're over here, but then it was nighttime, but it was just daytime. Like the time is super weird in dreams. So but a lot of people kind of some of the key indicators that you might be like called to learning about a past life is like your biggest, like I tell people like their irrational fears sometimes, or feeling called to a certain place and time, like we just talked about, certain memories of that aren't yours. And that could happen in mediumship too. Like you might start, if some people experience spirits as like they're in their body and they have memories of the spirit because the spirit's showing them their life. But in most cases, people just are feeling like maybe they lived in the place before. And it can lead to some, I've noticed people like having like the random fear of like being choked, and maybe in the past life they were like suffocated. So it's super interesting how that works. But I think the most compelling case that I found was of a little boy that his name was James Leninger, and after his second birthday, this is like the case that you're going to see everywhere that you look for past life, you're going to see this, because this little boy between 2 and 3 started talking about his life as a fighter pilot. And like his parents were like super skeptical about it, and then his dad ended up doing research and found the pilot who he was, and the names he was saying was true. He knew about like certain planes, like by name. He knew the parts of the planes that his mom didn't even know. So that's when you want to definitely look for. I'm going to put there's a cool documentary that I'll put in the description, but these things are not, fake. And on a more woo level, we have Akashi Cris. There's a place called the Akashic realm, which is basically to me the same thing as the quantum field, if you think about it, because it's everywhere, it permeates everything. But the Akashic records is kind of like a record keeper of all past, present, and future. And people say that you can go into these records and access, your past lives. So that's why I was curious.
Exactly. That's the most common question that I think people go in there with. If you follow a protocol, and I don't know which ones you've read about kind of the the attitude that you're supposed to have, the humble approach to the process. And I told you, because we've talked, that I'm like super ADD, so it's hard for me to meditate. It drives me crazy because if I could, I would be like just really focusing, because you can really focus on a particular question, and usually it's about your past life. You're not supposed to like ask about other people's, but again, those are protocols that are man-made. You know, we're talking about a concept that's so much bigger. If you're talking about consciousness being almost detached from you. I'm an IT person, so I keep thinking of a network. You know, every time we talk about things being in the cloud, it's the same.
No, it makes sense.
Concept,
and you know what? Diana Pazuka mentions that in her American Cosmic book, that the universe might just be a big, you know, input-output thing. So it's basically an algorithm. And like when people are like, oh, I'm working with manifesting work, or they're praying, or they're focusing even on something like, you know, like the self-fulfilling prophecy type thing, like you're putting it out. So the universe and like the energy around it starts to say, oh, I think you want that. And it doesn't differentiate good and bad, because it doesn't, that's us. Like we are the dualistic plane right here in this world. So in the Akashic realm, it's just, everything just is what it is, right? Is that where you got your name, Cris? Akashi Cris from, so where did you start that journey? Because the Akashic realm's a big rabbit hole.
Oh, it's a huge rabbit hole. So I started, this journey actually started for me when my dad died. And I remember it was the week that he was in ICU. His ex-wife in Florida, who was in a hospital, my sister knew what had happened, but she didn't know. Nobody had told her. She had no idea. And she saw him, and she would never see him. And she said, oh, what is Chael doing here? Like totally natural, and really arguing with her. And I'm like, okay, so, you know, and I've always been, you know, spiritually driven, but you know, this really started to kind of change things for me between that and the UFO topic, who turned out to be so much a bigger deal than UFOs. When I got into UAPs, I'm like, I thought we were just going to be talking about UFOs, and we went down, you know, it's a huge phenomenon. It's in its consciousness, and it all becomes like this big puzzle. So when I was thinking of things that would solve that puzzle, the Akashic realm being like a base that you think about, it makes sense, because back to your point, it also has a potential quantum explanation that quantum entanglement could be allowing. Then if you go to past lives and reincarnation and all that, you start thinking, if your mind is unlocked, you know, if your consciousness is not, you know, part of your body, is just transfers. So what if it gets uploaded and then reloaded, because we're all people.
So what are some reasons why would that be?
Don't mean to monopolize. It's just like I get so passionate about it. I want to hear you guys say, you know, what you guys have to say.
But why would somebody come back? Like I have my own answers, but I want to hear each of you. Like Artemis, what would bring you back to this earth? Like if you know, it's not going to happen. We're not going to let you ever die. You're going to be with us forever. But one day Artemis soul's like, okay, bye, and leaves Earth. What on earth and what in the universe would bring you back to this place? Like, why do you think people come back?
I mean, why wouldn't they? Really, we're fascinating. Our planet's fascinating. We have like so many different climates and so many different like species of life. And also my daughters, you know, I'd come back. Yeah. Like I also have, you know, for that first reason, see what they're up to. But I mean, although there's always like the negative side of humanity, there's so much positive, you know, and there's so many like beautiful aspects to life and to Earth and to what this planet has to offer. So there would be like a million reasons to come back and, you know, to explore more. But yeah, it'd be tempting to also go explore the universe. I mean, if I'm just like some cool conscious like little thing going around without a vessel, like I wouldn't care. I wouldn't get sucked into anything. So yeah, I would maybe go see some planets and then come back to Earth.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like a free you're just free to explore, and you might not even like you might just be joined with this crazy like ocean of cosmic consciousness where you're just with one and all in a
Yeah.
state where there's not any like, as the same type of strife that we have here. Like
Yeah.
or, there's no resistance there. Then
Yeah.
that's what a lot of people say when they have past life experiences, right? Like they're like, "Man, I did not want to come back." And even I took a
They're
little bit too
probably
much of
based
a
on
something one
different
time, and I saw
so.
my sons. Like that's what I saw these light beings and my sons, and I was like, "Am I actually dying, or is this the mushrooms?" So, either way, the vision worked because I
Oh,
saw some light beings and like a montage of my sons, and I was like, "Oh, I have to go back." So,
yeah.
like you said, like
Do
your
you
kids
think we
would
get
bring
a
you,
choice? Do you really think we get a choice? Because I mean, I'm whenever the people explain Akashic records, and I think it's a good analogy. It's like waves in the water. You're part of the water. It's all one big thing. You're like, you're not split apart, and you just kind of have to ride the wave. I'm wondering if we don't get a choice. It's like the rules are set. You're supposed to either recycle or maybe you didn't achieve your mission. And
yeah,
maybe, we don't know what
yeah,
makes the rules, but it would be trippy. I
yeah.
would love to come back. Hell, how many do-overs, It's like,
I mean, as
yeah,
long as the earth
it
is
would
here,
be
right?
awesome. But I'm wondering if that's just the ride that we're supposed to go in and just go wherever it takes us.
Yeah, I
So
feel like the whole do-over would be more of like a human
Yeah.
fantasy, like
yeah.
living in
Well,
regrets or like coulda, woulda, shouldas,
what about energy though? Like say, I've heard a lot of people and there's an imbalance of my duality, I guess, or my lower and higher vibrational self. Like, what if I have to come back as a because I've heard of the concept of karmic debt as well. And some people don't believe in karma. Like I know, like one of my friends is a witch. She's like, I don't believe in karma. I speed up karma because she doesn't care. She'll curse you. She'll do whatever. She's just that person. And
Yeah.
people have that view though. People that are atheists obviously wouldn't believe that. Christians wouldn't believe that. So, but there is a concept of karmic debt. Like if I was like and that doesn't mean like what people think all the time. It doesn't mean what goes around comes around. It's part of it, but also in the sense, like you said, like not fulfilling your mission. But
Mhm.
it is a human thing to think like that. But energy has different vibrations. So even on an energetic level, if you can't like go into this next realm and like mesh well with that vibration, and you're like a murderer before you die or something, you have to come back. I mean,
Yeah, that's where we get into, where do you go depending on
oh
what
yeah.
what your actions were while you were sitting here on earth. You know, that's
If
what
that's
I
the case,
don't
I feel like everybody's coming back because we've all got like things that are left unresolved.
Well, why would some come back and not? To your point earlier, that pilot, that kid, my
Yeah,
gosh, there's so many stories like that where
there
these
really is.
children can quote if they got murdered. I don't know if you saw Leslie Kean, Surviving Death, obsessed with that documentary.
Oh, I haven't seen
I
it.
haven't.
Oh my God. If you haven't seen it, you have to see it.
Yeah.
Leslie Kean, Surviving Death, and it covered the case of the fighter, the kid that was like
Yeah,
little man going down. And it was
we
like it
don't
broke
even
my
have
heart. He would kept
yeah,
saying, little man going down, can't get
nightmares,
out,
right?
or
He had like
yeah.
nightmares.
But it covers
Wow.
people that have had near-death experiences. Like that
Oh,
they got
wow.
to come back and the things that they experienced there. And yeah, it's like 5 or 6 episodes in covering different areas. But
Interesting.
reincarnation has several other stories on kids that can quote, they know.
Yeah.
This guy knew he was in entertainment. This kid knew he was like a director in Hollywood. He could quote his friends. They finally found him, or not a director. He was actually like an extra. So he was actually really hard to find. So
Wow.
it's a trip.
I think that is so crazy when kids say stuff. Like we were driving one day and my son's already seen like spirits and stuff like that. And so he's just an open kid.
Yeah.
But one day we're driving, he's looking at this telephone pole. He's like, Mom, I was a big guy like daddy one time and I was a construction worker and the electricity got me and I died. And I was like,
Are
he
you
was like
kidding?
3.
What?
And I tried to I didn't want to encourage it too much because if it's his imagination, I think that our we just need to be there for our kids if they want to tell us stuff like that. But at the same time, I didn't want to incept him with anything. And I was just like, oh, interesting. And then he didn't want to talk about it. So he's
and he hasn't mentioned it since.
No. And it was super weird is because we were just driving and he said it. Out of nowhere, because he saw they were doing road work and he's little boys, I don't know, they've always excavators and stuff like that, construction things, because they're big,
that's
cool.
pretty specific.
Yeah, that was
That's
I was trying to rationalize it because I'm still I still have a foot in I'm a witch, but I'm still I still have a science background, so I think that I'm always at odds with myself, arguing, no, that's weird. No, it's not. But so yeah, it was super weird. And he's had some crazy dreams too. So I don't know. How do we treat that? I don't know if I should have asked more. I just didn't want him to get if it was a terrible death, I don't want to keep talking about it,
Yeah, no, I mean it could traumatize him, and if you watch that one documentary, the kid he gets broken up. One of them gets just broken up whenever he even thinks about it. He just it impacted him. So you don't, as a mom, you don't want to open up a can of worms,
Right.
But that is a very specific thing. So
Yeah.
wow.
I do let him know, I'm here if you need to tell me something crazy. Not crazy, but if you need to be open,
you want to go crazy with me.
If you want to be a freaking weirdo, I'm here for you, kid. Sometimes that's all we need is somebody to say, you can be a weirdo. Well, the other one was he's like, oh, I had a really bad dream last night, Mom. Again, we're driving. I'm like, minding my own business, thinking oh God, what's this kid gonna say now? Because he's loud and he's just very boy and rambunctious, and he's just
girls are very squeaky and rambunctious.
Yeah, so they kids squeak, right? So he was like, Mom, last night I had a bad dream and the earth was black and the cars were black and the people were black. I have a recording of it because I was like, what? Can you repeat that? And he said, and a big tower crashed and then the earth went black. All the electricity was gone. I was like, okay, Nostradamus, baby, what the?
I know.
And I was like, oh, wow.
He just basically told you about an apocalypse?
I know. That's what it, yeah. Okay. And I was like,
a little
I was like, I kind of was driving, so I didn't get I don't have a clear frame of him, but I was like, hey, can you repeat that? I was like, what was your dream about again? And he was just retold it. I don't let him watch. I'm I'm pretty laid back as a parent, but I'm not going to let him watch creepy things. I know better. They got into some Nightmare Before Christmas this year, but this was before that. So
that wasn't too bad. Well, yes, yeah.
Well, my sons love Jack. He's a character. So, but he's a very curious kid. There's a cemetery across from his school, and he's heard me talking about ghost hunting because I'm going on this paranormal tour for my birthday investigation, and he's like, oh, can we take your thing and go in the cemetery and look for ghosts? I think zombies are there. It just but he's asking me 1,000 questions about oh, well, what happens? Why do they put people in the ground? What happens to them? Where's their brain after that? And I don't know, when he said, where's their brain after that? I'm like, are you talking about their consciousness? So we had a very
because yours are young. Deep. Yeah.
I'm blaming it on he's a Pisces, so I'm going to blame it on that. But.
Oh, funny.
But yeah, so kids are weird.
Yeah, I'm past that phase. So yeah, I'm not going to be talking about my birthday during this whole thing.
Oh man.
I'm old. You guys are kiddies.
So would any of you guys do, would any of you guys ever do a past life regression? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Both of you.
Why not?
Absolutely. I would love to do that. I want to know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Who knows? There's some stuff that pops in my head that I have no freaking idea where it's coming from. So there's probably 10 people living in there. So
but we love them all.
It's okay, guys.
People with only one personalities are boring, guys. Come on.
All of my personalities hate you.
There we go.
Oh. I love this, guys. Paranormal Pixie says, remind him
Paranormal Pixie.
ghosts are just people that have shed their body. Because I get all fierce with him. I'm like, tell them to get the beep out if they're scaring you. They have no business here. Tell them to get out. Like, you know, because that's what my grandma would do. She'd be like yelling at demons and ghosts, and like that's how it's done. But I forget that he's a child, and this is a way better way to say it. Remind him ghosts are just people that have shed their body, because he's seen like you know, like I practice mediumship if I have to. I don't like doing it. I'm not going to put myself out there like a medium, but I have experienced ghosts here. And I'm like, why are you here? Can you not be here? Like, and he's like a little magnet for like spirits. So finally I teach him, you know. But one day he was like looking out the window and he's like, oh, hey. And he talked really early. So like he's 2 and he's like, oh yeah, sure. Come on in. And my husband's like, did he just invite somebody in? Like, we'll see tonight, you know, like
Wow.
it's and they can, yeah, it's crazy.
But they don't have fear of it, right?
Oh, he does. One of the spirits that was either here when we moved here or, you know, and they can hide from you. And a lot of spirits that are jerks will hide from the parents. And it's not like I'm coming in here like with my pendulum and my REM pod, you know, like, although I should. EMF reader in the closet, you know, and I have done that to make him feel better, because I'm like, look, if there's a magnetic fluctuation, and my husband's like, great, he's going to start saying magnetic fluctuation. I'm like, there's not what's wrong with it. But yeah, so I'll walk around with the, you know, the EMF reader for him at nighttime if he's afraid. But there was one spirit that was a male, and he basically attached to my son somehow. We live near a mental health facility. Like, it's not like right next door, but we could walk there. And I always joke, like, when I lose it, I can just walk there. But he was playing outside and was talking to somebody in the alley, and I got scared. I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody's in the alley talking to my son, and nobody was there. I'm like, okay, he's pretending things. Well, he starts talking about 2 spirits, one that's little like him and one that's big like Dada. And again, I'm taking notes, but I'm not like, you know, I'm not trying to put anything in his mind. And I eventually had to go in his room and sit down and meditate and try and channel and see like what this person was. And it was a gentleman that had committed suicide, that he had nephews, and he was a cool uncle, but he was also mentally unstable. And that's why a lot of spirits will stick around. So they are bound to either their whatever's here on earth that they didn't. Sometimes if they don't resolve it, they won't move on because they're not ready to move on. So that was the whole situation, and he was scaring him. So I had to get into the witchy stuff and get him out.
Yeah.
So that after that, he was afraid.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not be?
He's a murderer. Wow.
Yeah, so it's you know, it's one of those, like I think that everybody's kid, though, like if you gave them a chance, might talk about it in those ages, because they say the ages between 2 and 4 is when you're most likely to remember like past lives, and also kind of talk about the spirit world if they're open to it, or if they're just naturally like empathic to it.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, because I mean, early in life, you seem to be very unblocked, right? Because you're not, you know, you're pure. You haven't been filled with all the experiences and technology and everything that clogs our minds. So, I mean, it just seems like in certain periods of life, and this is what takes me, you know, I'm going through stuff with my mom and seeing, you know, things that you call dementia towards the end of life. And I'm wondering if what you're really seeing is in a multidimensional world, if we're able to unlock the power of consciousness to see what's around us, maybe it happens when we're the clearest, and it's at the beginning and towards the end when you're about to transition into this, you know, Akashic realm or whatever the next, you know, step is. So I just find it interesting. And I know dementia is a real thing, but there's some things that I can't explain that I'm seeing, you know, that's like, that
like they're flickering in and out of the timelines, right? It's, and yes, I know dementia is real. Like there's physiology that proves it, but you're right. Like why is it so common? I don't think we know enough about how our brain works, like physiologically in the first place, to start making judgments on what it is. But it's just definitely strange how vivid these details are and how they're seeing people like you described. And a lot of people think that, they are kind of like living with between realms.
Yeah.
And you got to
What if
think
you
about
can only
birth and
see
death,
it?
right?
Yeah, what if you can only see it when you're unlocked, when your mind is just open?
Well, yeah, that's why a lot of people do the entheogenic plants to see, like ayahuasca, mushrooms, San Pedro, like all that stuff. Even some people use marijuana for that, and that's one of the more accessible ones, obviously. But it shuts everything up because we've got these egos, we've got these busy minds. We're thinking about we got to feed the kids, we got to go to work, we got to plan things, we got to research, we got to do this and that. But when you're under the influence of like a plant medicine, it kind of like cracks it open for you. Like it breaks down that ego. You're not going to question it as much. And it's the same thing in the dreamland, dream world, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But I think that certain like brain, things that affect the brain, like dementia, definitely is a possibility.
There was an interesting comment here from Cat1137. She said she works with hospice. Clients almost always see spirits, more so if they have dementia.
That's
It's
kind
that
of
it's that
nuts. But
feel.
I there's so many times you can say that they're just seeing things that are just not there. Well, maybe they're seeing things that are there that we can't see.
Yeah.
That's a trip. It's like,
yeah, like maybe it's both. Like sometimes they're there and they're not there. So then it's making them confused. Like,
Oh, yeah.
am I seeing things? Am I not seeing things? Like I was just talking to this person. Now I can't find them, or no one else believes me. Why? And then that drives them crazy. Like it's really sad.
yeah.
Well, even people afflicted with PTSD, right? Like when I did hair, I had a gentleman come in and he was a soldier and he starts talking to me, and he's my regular because he moved back because he got out of the army. But he was talking to me, and he started talking about an experience out of nowhere. And I didn't ask him about it, but he got comfortable enough where he wanted to tell me for some reason. And they go somewhere, like the look in their eyes, like they're there again. Like the brain is so mysterious on how it works like that. It literally transports people's consciousness in a way. And there's no proof for that. So come at me. But I mean, at the same time, like you talk to somebody with dementia that's having a flashback to another part of their life, or you talk to me with a soldier that's having PTSD flashback from some horrible night or day, and tell me something isn't happening in their spirit or their consciousness. Like I just don't think we've figured it out yet from like with science. And again, we are thinking, a lot of people are saying like quantum mechanics is possibly going to explain that one day.
Yeah, if the scientists can ever get over the fact that they can't come up with the mathematical formula to explain it. If there's no formula, nope, it don't exist. It's like, there's something there to it. I just hope that they can crack it, because I think it just makes sense. What is
so? I have a comment I want to acknowledge. Study of UFO, UAP. I mixed
That's
that up.
Deb.
That's Deb. Yeah. Can you please remind people about staging and eliminating negative spirits? So, with the term, and I'm only saying this because I know somebody's going to listen and say you can't say stage because it's a Native American practice. I get it. Like my dad's side's Native American. I'm registered with the tribe. But for political correctness, I'm going to call it smoke cleansing and herbal cleansing with smoke, because that's what it is. You're taking a sacred plant, you're burning it, and the plant spirit is known to transmute low vibrational entities and frequencies away. So then it kind of like neutralizes these scary things, like the negative spirits that she's talking about. The weird thing about that is if it's a normal, like nice spirit, it's not going to go anywhere. So, yes, if you're having problems like poltergeist activity, you can try to do like the plant cleansing or the smoke cleansing or smudging, if you want to call it that. And it will help get some of those spirits out. Or it can transmute any like residual energy. Like some houses have a residual energy, like maybe somebody got, like maybe there was a lot of like fighting in that house, or maybe somebody died in that house, or there was just like, somebody afflicted with some sort of mental health issue. The energy stays there. And that's why some people see ghosts sometimes, like doing the same thing. But when you burn a sacred plant like white sage, cedar, mugwort, then it will move and transmute that energy into something that's like more usable energy, more neutralized energy. So yes, when you are doing any sort of, even like a past life regression, if you're doing it alone, definitely set an intention. And it's just the same thing. It's the same thing with like doing human initiated contact, like CE5 type things, meditations. To you have to set your boundaries, because there have been people that have a lot of people have reported like the whole hitchhiker effect is what they're calling it. But also, just once you open up to one thing, what's stopping you from opening up to everything if you don't set your boundaries?
Yeah, that's like, hey, Artie's back.
She's back.
And she's gone. And she's back.
No, I just clicked my back.
I wrote in the enigma today.
The thing was freezing and stuff, so I had to restart it.
Technology, man.
Yeah, now I lost my train of thought because I lost my train of thought.
Me too.
We were
glitching in and out of the matrix.
I know. Deep brain shut down. Poof.
Oh, that's what we were talking about. So, and you can totally like add in on this too, Artemis. Like when people open up to one thing, what's stopping them from opening up to other things if they aren't setting energetic boundaries or intentions when they're experimenting with anything, really? Like even something like angel cards can kind of like just open you to like everything. And it's that whole, or like an experience when people see a UFO, they start getting paranormal activity in their house too. So
yeah, I mean, I remember like playing with a Ouija board when I was like 11, 12, 13, and I didn't know, like, okay, I knew essentially what it did, like talking to spirits, but I mean, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Like, I mean, I probably assumed that because I watched Now and Then, I had it all figured out.
That trained you.
So good.
Was not like you get a class on how to like how to thin the veil correctly.
I probably just assumed, oh, that's all you do. And like, I remember one time me and my friend, like we were doing it. She swears she didn't move it. I mean, I don't know, but like I remember the board, like it was moving, and I know I didn't because I wasn't trying to fake anything. And I don't know if I believe her. Like, you know, I don't know. She was pretty cheeky back then. So like maybe she didn't, maybe she did. She still she says that she didn't, but it was moving. I don't remember what it wrote. I think we stopped because we were like, what the F? Like, is this actually working? I'm like, okay, wait, I don't think we're prepared for this.
Then everybody runs out of the room screaming.
But it was like in an older house, like in my basement at the time. So like,
oh man, that's
sure, like I think
factor of 900
40s or something.
You set yourself up a Ouija board in the basement.
And it had like this basement. It was so epic. Like it had like bright red, like total 70s like shag
carpet.
I love it. There was probably like hippie orgies in there, and that's what you were channeling.
Like wall to wall was like wood paneling. So good. Such a 70s
bow.
Yeah, such a 70s vibe. But it was a cool basement, you know, whatever. I mean, it was like my domain, so I mean, I thought it was cool.
I have a Ouija board somewhere in this house, and I don't know where it is. And that's
I did not bring one to this house.
I think if you cast a circle like a witch, cast a circle, call your watchers of all the sacred dimensions and all the sacred directions, and I'm an annoying witch if you do a ritual because I'm like calling the dimensional guides, you know, all of it. So I think if you cast a circle, set an intention, and then do the Ouija board, it's no different than tarot or channeling.
Yeah.
Some people use tarot to talk to spirits.
Yeah.
People are like, I see her. I'm still not messing with it. That's the look I'm getting, guys. You can't see it if you're listening to audio, but everybody just looked at me like, no, you won't, and no, we cannot.
No, I'm game. I'm actually game here. I'm like, let's do this. And then I'll be like, oh no, they're back.
No, I mean, if you were here, like if I was with professionals.
You don't want to do it alone.
Yeah, I think it's like
maybe
doing
not
like
even in my own
channeling
house,
along is
actually, at
super
somebody
weird.
else's house.
Grab
Then I
your
would go back.
quantum witch buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to bring some weird hitchhiker back.
No.
But I think that's what, like, like a lot of people
When I
talk
was
about
in
that.
shrooms, I felt like the veil, like in my head, it's like I had all these knowings, like, because it wasn't like thoughts, it was just like statements almost. Like I felt so strongly that we were like there was a very like thin veil between us and like the other dimensions. Like I don't know. And
I told you were a medium when you told me about that ghost. I'm
no,
just saying.
and
Like
like
Artemis plays it off like, I don't know, man. I'm just
I'm
reading
not a
about this for
medium.
fun. Then she's like,
because like
I
I
could
need like
feel
a
the
teacher.
dimensions
I need
thinning,
a mentor.
and I was getting visions. So
I need a
Artemis.
mentor because yeah, like it was like a very like sure knowing of that, and like that like spirits were everywhere but nowhere. If that makes sense, like they weren't like visible, but I could feel them, and I know that they were around. I just
Yeah,
have
you were
like, I had
channeling.
thoughts. It was like it was a really good trip. Like I wanted it to be. I did it personally because like I wasn't in a great place, but I wanted to really open up my mind and just help me see things clearer, which it did.
That's
It did,
amazing.
and along with that, it opened up like so much, including those dreams of that world or whatever. That only started after shrooms. Yeah, it's like
No,
it
there's
did
nothing.
open up a lot. It was weird, but it was good, and like, but strange. Yeah.
Well, that's what people originally used shrooms for, marijuana
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
There's a lot of theories that even in the Bible, this special oil might have had some, nice little cannabis going with it. So
The
I
burning
think that
bush. Maybe it was some like psilocybin.
okay, so like just hear me out. These guys go into a tent to hang out with the tabernacle that nobody can touch because it'll kill them. They burning incense to cleanse the area, and they come out with a religious experience. You were high and you were dimensionally traveling. I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I mean, even just for natural like medicine, they were a lot more resourceful back then, and they used the plants and like what nature gave to us to aid us in all these ailments and whatever.
And they still try to do it. Like there's pharmaceutical companies that pay dudes to go research plants.
Like now it's coming back even with shrooms, like doing it in small doses for people with like depression or serious like mental health issues. And I mean, I can say it definitely does help with mental health issues from experience, but I mean, scientifically, I don't have a lot of knowledge.
There's actually a lot of science about it right now.
There is.
Time magazine had like a couple months ago, like a whole like magazine about psilocybin being used to treat depression. There's actual studies going on right now to treat PTSD. And I'm not doing it anymore, but I was microdosing for a little bit because with mushrooms because I didn't want to try I didn't trust pharmaceuticals. I thought that a lot of these like antidepressants and stuff, I was afraid because I didn't understand how they worked, and I didn't believe the people that created them understand how brain chemistry works enough. Nobody could tell me how it was working. That's what my problem was with the plant. It's something from the earth. People have been using it since the beginning of time. The mushroom is a sacred thing in many cultures. So I was buying this honey that was infused, and I just, like it wasn't a reliable source because obviously people like you're not supposed to be buying it. So they kind of like go dark, and then you're like, oh man, that was really working. And now I can't get my magic honey. So, but yeah, it definitely, the microdosing for people with depression is, it's a real thing.
Yeah. So I do find that interesting, for sure. Even just on a personal level. And somebody in the chat just said about what do we think of DMT entities? I mean, I've definitely heard a lot of stories about people's experiences on DMT and how it is really like kind of like a door to another portal almost.
Yeah.
Like you see things, and like I haven't done it myself, open to it, but haven't done it. And you really just the experience is so unique, and apparently you do see things, and it people experience similar things as well. I think I might be getting that wrong, but I think we're seeing like into another portal or dimension
Yeah.
or
Well, people describe the same types of beings, right? There's on that UFO podcast, Dan and Andy interviewed one of like the main guys. I can't think of his name right now, but they talked about like the entities and beings that people see when they're having DMT experiences. And the guy's a scientist. I'll have to find that episode and send it to you.
So
people will see similar things.
Hmm.
Like we all take it right now, and this happens with ayahuasca too to people, and we're all having like a conjoined trip. We're seeing the same beings. We're having like an experience together, like visual too. Like, obviously, you know that your friends are around you.
Pardon?
I said I've been dying to try ayahuasca.
Yeah.
I need because my brain, I'm like super ADD and always so just busy and chaotic, and it's like I don't know how to shut it down. I have such a hard time in meditation. I have a hard time to just being in the moment and being present, and it's just that's really required. And I really want to explore consciousness, and the only way to do that is just kind of chill out a little bit.
You might need it because people with ADHD need something to calm their brain down. Like I'm on the medicine right now for it because I can't get a real in Kentucky. Nothing's legal. So I can't be like messing around with that. I got kids. You can't go to jail, even though it'd be helping me. Like, oh, but I wanted to like die before I started using this, and I had all this anxiety and ADHD. So I'm on ADHD medicine, and it just so happens to help the anxiety because I think that people with ADHD with the racing thoughts, that's what gives you the anxiety. It's like a chain of like, chain reaction. But I can relate to that because I remember doing yoga before I started like meditating and doing other things to like calm my mind. But I would get pissed in the middle of yoga. Like, I'd be like, this is taking forever. I'm bent up like a pretzel. And how long are we going to be here? 3 minutes? DJ was in the chat earlier, but he does yoga.
He's probably like,
which was finally explained to me in a meditation in yoga, that's a release of energy and anger that is only going to come out this way. Like it was a release of like impatience and anger and all this like crappy energy, which makes sense too. But at the time I was just like, I hated meditating. I hated doing long yoga. I hated the ones like a yin yoga where you sit in a pose for 2 to 3 minutes. Like
I've never done that. I mean, I've done poses, but never done like yin yoga before.
Yin yoga. It's good. It's really, once you do it and you do it a couple times and get used to the stillness, which is most people's enemy, like you're saying, then it actually, you feel like amazing afterwards. But you feel like so like your muscles.
Yoga's amazing.
Good. Your energy feels so good. Yeah, yoga's a medicine for a lot of people. Like I was telling you,
my problem with yoga is that the only time I went to yoga was hot vinyasa yoga.
Oh man,
what's that?
You couldn't walk the next day. Vinyasa yoga, it's like a lot of like up and down. It's like you do like a cycle and it builds. So like you do like, you do like these flows or vinyasas, and you do them over and over, and then it adds something each time in a sequence.
Nice.
And the
So
room
if DJ's listening, he'll be like, she's dumb. She doesn't know what she's talking about because he's a yoga instructor. But you guys know what I'm talking about. But it's hard though because you'll be like in like chair position, which is like a squat basically, but with your legs together, and they'll be like, and hold it, and we're gonna just hold this here and breathe, and you're like, oh my god, my ass is on fire, like my legs are burning up. So there's different
but
kinds.
It wasn't just my ass, it was the ass of the person 6 inches away from me because the room was packed, and the whole time I'm in yoga I'm like, where's the escape hatch? What if we all have to run?
Oh my gosh, what about like
somebody does something
yoga?
They shouldn't during yoga? How do we escape from that mushroom cloud? And I couldn't get into the yoga because I was so like, ugh.
Oh, you were just unlucky that day.
That's
the danger. Like you don't want to be at the front of the class because everybody will see you, but you don't want to be at the back of the class because you get the backdraft, if you know what I mean. And people are shameless. They're like, handstand, blow up the whole.
Like, how do you escape?
And the etiquette of yoga is you just let people let it out. Like it's natural. If you're doing
showdown or
if you flip up into a headstand and you fart, and it's not a big deal. There's no ladies in yoga. I'm kidding.
That's what we teach our kids. So at what age?
I think so too. Like I think it's ridiculous to hold in a human function, but anyways, like I think that's why
your husband.
What?
Huh?
When you fart
What?
in front of
Are
your
you
husband?
asking if we fart in front of our husbands?
Is that what you said?
Yeah. You say you're not gonna
I'm
hold
out.
it up.
I'm like, break.
We've been together for 10 years. If you hold a fart in for 10 years, it's not healthy. Sorry if
My
anybody's out there
husband
listening
is
to
on
these.
the chat. Yeah, my husband's on the chat.
Well, guys do it. I remember like when we first started dating, we're hanging out like outside of class because we met in college, and it was just like burn, and the birds flew out of the trees, and I'm like, well, why do they just get to like blow it up? Like shamelessly, like they do the lean and everything. They're like, they like lean over, and it just like comes out like
Because men are just
a real free butthole on those Y chromosome carrying motherfuckers.
they are just closer to the ape than we are.
I think Josh is throwing fruit at Artemis right now.
Josh is like, can you please go?
No, Stuart's right, guys. Stuart is right.
It's a myth.
Girls don't fart. They are not. We are
Yeah.
not biological
This is the
metabolizing
man right
beings.
No. It
is a myth.
It's like a flower. Poof.
Yeah,
It's not-
glitter flies out.
Sprinkles and
Butterflies
skittles.
come out and
Skittles.
fairy dust
Nothing but
and
skittles.
magical songs of wonder.
Well, we have talked about everything from past lives to karma to alien farts now.
Carolina, it's funny.
You never
asked
know
that
what happened,
because
and you might be like,
the
Yeah,
aliens
it's
were
wild.
wondering because they don't either. You know,
Well, they've got to know if they're probing
like
like
aliens and women,
like
we just
you're
don't-
real relaxed when you're in that alien
Okay.
trance, and you're just like. Here
I just
comes the
thought about the
probe.
whole
I
alien
can't relate,
probing
but
thing. Is there
go
like a
for your husband.
technicality?
I can't relate though. You know,
See, Flarius says that he farts Febreze. He didn't say that, but I thought it'd be funnier if he said that. So he says Febreze is life.
Oh,
Ah.
I thought he really said he farted for breeze.
I mean, I feel like he
oh
would
my
say that.
gosh!
I don't know how we got here, but it was
Did
fun.
you? I know, but did you see our?
It was the yoga. It was the yoga that brought us here, guys.
Yes,
I'm here for all the fart comments here.
Yeah,
you have to
somebody's
pull
gonna
up
come back.
Arlene's comment next.
Oh, okay. Here we go. My Arlene says my late husband was a very proper man. I had to go hide to let it out, but now I'm alone and will rattle the walls if I need to. Yes, good for you, Arlene.
Go, Arlene.
You know what? This woman clearly found some.
She found peace,
positivity
man. She found
in her
peace.
life.
Rattle those walls, Arlene.
Well,
You
some
go
guys are
rattle
super
those
psycho. I
walls.
had an ex like that. We had been like in fights because like
People really
a little
like
fart
Mexican.
came out.
I
Like,
don't know.
if he thought that I went number 2, it was like a fight. I'm like, what do you think happened? Like, I'm a metabolizing being that's made of light too, guys. So,
Lights and
but
fire.
yeah, Arlene is living her best life. That's right.
It really is. It really is.
I love Arlene.
I can have as much wine as I want, and I can fart until the walls rattle.
Hell yeah. Naked too, if you want. Nobody's there.
I can Winnie the Pooh around my house, and it's okay.
I always have this. Okay, so does anybody ever get drunk and go down for a midnight snack alone?
Duh.
So I have this fear that I'm going to be pulling nachos out of out of the microwave because I'm too drunk to do it in the oven. I don't want to burn the house down. And there's going to be like a robber downstairs, and he's going to sneak up to me and kill me, and I'm going to die in a bed of freaking nachos from being drunk and fat.
Wow,
That's an irrational fear of mine.
that's a real fear. Not just
Because I will. I'll be like behind
Are
me.
they with
and-
cheese or?
Oh yeah, just
okay,
plain
like
cheese.
fully
We're
loaded
drunk here.
nachos,
We're drunk
yeah.
here. We're not doing chicken.
No,
we're not doing
nachos.
jalapeno. No, we're drunk. We're just throwing something in the microwave, eating it.
With the American slices on those chips.
I've been guilty. I have been guilty.
Oh my god.
I don't drink a lot, but when
Oh,
I do, I
man.
know to have chips and dip or chips and cheese.
Like last time me and Josh drank, we ordered a pizza. So
and my husband and I have been eating like frozen pizza because I've been really bad
Oh.
at. I haven't even cooked, and I love to cook, but I just haven't had time. So he's home, and yeah, pizza again. Pizza,
Yeah.
honey.
Cooking is like,
You should take
I
up
know people get into it, but I can't. I can't get into it. Speaking of, did you guys ever read that UFO account where he walked up and he got like an alien pancake?
Wait, what?
Like
What?
the alien gave him some pancakes.
No.
Yeah, it's actually in the book. It's in Operation Trojan Horse, the book. It's like one of the accounts
Oh
that he
my
goes
God,
over.
my husband's obsessed with this book. I'm
Oh,
surprised he's not like coming up here and saying, kicking me out and starting to talk about it. He loves it.
well, we'll have
So,
more of like like our UFO book club, UAP book
yeah.
club is this Saturday. And we do have a panel for that. We've got like Nathan Spaghetti
Yay.
and oh my gosh, why is my brain not working right now? Experiencer group. I just was messaging him earlier. Experiencer group.
From our
Chris?
Max?
No. He was just on Sean's channel earlier. Why is my brain not working? Jay. Oh my gosh. I was like, I literally was messaging him after they talked to Miss King, and I was like, ugh, my brain just gave up right now, guys. I'm drinking water. So that's just a mom brain. But yeah, so they're coming on as kind of like with the normal panel. But starting next month, I'm going to do like a once a week Twitter space. So more people in the community can talk about the books because I'm starting to feel like it's fun for us to talk about it, especially if we can get an author on. But at the same time, I want more people to be involved. And I think that I'm ready to be more part of Twitter instead of just like kind of part of Twitter and stop being afraid. So
it gets scary sometimes, but we'll cover you. We got you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Twitter is like it has the good and the bad, but just focus on the good and ignore the bad.
I feel like it's been more good. It's been more good than bad. Like
it's been more bad this week.
Really? Well, I think that like
Last
I'm
week
getting better
was
about
bad.
leaving.
Yeah.
Last week was
there's
wild.
just drama like every single day, and a lot of people just fighting, and I don't know, just either fighting or just picking at each other and trying to pull the worst out in each other instead of,
yeah,
I don't know, lots of things taken out of context. And
well, how surprised are these people on like opposite sides?
Needed, really.
How surprised are they going to be when they find out like it all is the same thing that we're after? Like, then it doesn't matter how you get there as long as we get there.
Of course,
because I feel like it's always like the division of like this is science, that's not real, or that's woo, no way. So like we've got like
say what's woo and what's not these days.
We've got some like I was talking to a doctor that wants to study more with experiences, but he's afraid. Not afraid, but he's not doing it because of stigma. And I was just like people keep saying, "Oh, we want scientists, but they're tearing down the people that they're scaring people into like that's why the whole invisible college was there or is there, you know? So it's crazy that we just fight so much over something that we want. We want to know what it is.
We all want the same thing. And I mean, so we might not agree on some things, but we have a baseline that we share.
You just have to cater to what, stay true to what you want to say and what you want to do and how you feel. And then the right people will follow and support, and you'll connect with the right people. I mean, that's the most important thing, is staying true to what you believe and what you think, because although like being open-minded, I just mean, I don't know, don't change your opinions based on like one person or one comment or one thing out of context. And there's always better ways than just to like, fight back on Twitter with hateful words or blocking people or calling them out on their shows. I mean, instead just send that person a message. I mean, so much is DM. Like, I mean,
DM, call, email,
resolved by just a simple conversation. And I mean, I think everyone's so either agitated or just their feelings are heightened or something right now. Well,
think about the state of the world.
To like lash out. But yeah, of course, what's going on in the world and people's mental
whether
health,
people like acknowledge it, like it's.
But those aren't excuses. It and we tend to look for excuses, you know, or a reason behind our behavior. But sometimes we're just being dicks and like we don't want to confront our own issues. So we're projecting onto other people. And I mean, you see one thing on Twitter and you're like, oh, I have to get in on this. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, why? You know, if you're gonna ignore, if you ignore it, it will go away because whoever the person is who's trying to spread something, if they're not getting, you know, if they're not getting any bites, they're gonna eventually stop.
They're just gonna stop. And I've seen that happen where they just end up deleting it because they're like, oh,
Yeah,
like
lots of times. Or a
2
person
seconds later.
messages them like a DM and then they clear it like normal people should. Like
Yeah.
not normal people, I shouldn't say normal, but just a good person.
Human. Like, it's communication skills that people don't seem to have sometimes. Like when like, you know, like I've messaged people, like I've had some pretty nasty messages on Twitter and I've messaged them back trying to reason. And if they don't want to reason, they want to be a jerk, I'll block them. And like my mentor used to say, she said, you have to own your own bullshit. You have to own your own energy. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I mean, everybody does something, but I mean, at the same time, like you have to own it at some point, but not a lot of people are ready to own their own crap. Like I was a jerk earlier, even in like, even like in traffic, like you're mad at some guy because he cut you off, like you're still projecting out energy.
Yeah. And you don't know what that person has gone through for the day because, you know,
or that they really weren't paid, they're tired and they're driving.
What's going on in your life and they cut you off and they don't care. And it's really sad. It's like
it is. But I mean, it's everywhere. It's not just on UFO Twitter. But what we can control is just our own emotions and like how we react to things. And it's hard. It's like, it sounds like, you know, I'm not trying to say it's easy because it's definitely not. But the more that you do that and the more that you catch yourself before reacting or before answering a text or a thread or whatever, the more you do that, it will become more second nature. And you'll start to like raise that vibration and you'll start to be around people who also don't do that and who also choose to, you know, think before they're reacting or responding to messages. So I think that Pricilla.
Like
I had to say it. But yeah, I just think that we're in control of our own space. And although it gets invaded, we can choose to just not pay attention. But yeah.
It's all part of being an adult, right?
They don't have maple syrup, that's why.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You have to. I want to go to Canada just for this maple stuff.
There's
apparently
a maple festival in March that's like it's like 10-15 minutes from here, but it's in this like really pretty forested area and it's got like treetop trekking and obviously a lot of maple trees and like you can go on a wagon and stuff.
Oh,
it's really fun. And then you eat like fresh sap or whatever, like
just walk up, you're like hugging the tree and like tugging its sap hole.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take Josh to that for sure. I experience all the Canadian things here.
That's good. Canada's a beautiful country. Really look, guys, now we're talking about Canada. Alien pancakes to behave yourself.
Pancakes, you know, it makes
Canada. Yeah, pancakes, maple syrup, Canada. It all flows. I've only been to the west side of. I've only been to the west coast of Canada, so Yukon, British Columbia, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. Like they take care of their nature. Like
we do try to preserve a lot. Like a lot of our forests and national parks and stuff. But I don't know. Doesn't everybody try to now? Maybe not, I guess.
Not here. After our parks, our national parks is suffering right now, especially after COVID when people can take care of things. When park rangers weren't there.
I haven't really read up on it though, but I imagine
like there's been like trees that people have been like vandalizing, like in Joshua Tree and even the redwoods, like in the West Coast, like people like because there wasn't park rangers and nobody was there because the campgrounds were closed and all the touristy stuff was closed. So people were going out there and destroying these trees that are older than their grandparents and their great grandparents just because they were vandals, and it makes me really sad. to think about an old tree dying like that.
Yeah, we have some land close to Big Bend National Park, and it was a trip to see because the park was closed. It actually changed the environment in which the bears started to come down from the bears grew up, like the adult bears came down when the humans left. So they're the COVID bears and had baby bears. Those baby bears are very comfortable around humans. The humans started coming back. The parents went back uphill. But then I actually have a video walking behind this baby bear that's like walking around, and we're like checking to see for the mom. But supposedly the ranger said that COVID changed things to where these bears were now really comfortable, and they'll come down to the campground. They're like black bears just hanging out. Like, and all of it changed because of COVID.
We wouldn't be used to that.
Huh? I'm sorry?
We wouldn't be used to seeing that, but it's good they're adapting.
Oh,
yeah. Well, in Alaska, the bears are so protective. Like even if the bear's in your backyard and you've got like a baby playing out there and you shoot it, like you have to file this whole report. Like they're so protected.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's cool. Like that's their domain anyways. What are we doing there?
Exactly. We're the visitors there. So it's their park, so.
Yeah, for sure.
So we have another comment about the alien pancakes. They are gray. And then Deb says she doesn't think she would eat alien pancakes. They are gray. That's how it was described. So does anybody so we're coming up on an hour and a half almost right now, 10 more minutes. So does anybody have anything going on? What's like the next things that you guys have going on as far as like podcast or YouTube? I know everybody here is on YouTube. They're like podcast and YouTube. So what are you guys having going on? Like what are you doing next?
Want to take that one? Artemis?
Yeah. Miss Akashi Cris and Calling All Beings will be on our show tomorrow.
I did see that.
Show. And we're really excited for that. After that, we have Outer Realms, and I think I mentioned that earlier, that we're gonna have that one time I was abducted with Spooky, and we're gonna kind of get into like ghost stories and paranormal and just come hang
I'll
out.
definitely be watching that one.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And those are the two things we'll be announcing next week. We've got some shows. I just got confirmation for like times and stuff. So we have some more interviews booking in finally. So it's hard to schedule or like going back and forth with people and trying to arrange dates. So but we're starting to get the hang of it. And so just make sure you subscribe and tune in. Should be good.
Yes, for sure.
I'm excited for tomorrow though. It's gonna be really good.
Be fun. I'll definitely have to try and catch that one, depending on how the kids are acting. Like I feel bad because I don't catch a lot of live shows, and I want to support, so I had to watch it like the next day or whenever the kids are quiet. Because I also feel like a jerk mom if I have my noise canceling headphones like hanging out in the feed and they're like fighting over Legos or something. So so that's what you have
trying to have a live chat.
Yeah, like I get I was found sometimes where I'm like trying to listen and I get so frustrated. I'm like, oh my God, like what did they just say? It was live. Like
So I feel that whenever the girls are around, it's hard.
Yeah, it is. So, but my thing is I've been listening like since I cook things, which has been a newer development since we moved to Kentucky. I listen to the podcasts and YouTubes that I've missed while I'm cooking, and the kids like they used to like to help cook, but then they experienced cutting an onion. So under supervision, guys. So it's not like I'm letting my 4-year-old have a butcher knife.
Like I have this little 4-year-old.
So like they realize that their eyes can burn off if they're cutting onions, and even like they have like a toy. You know how kids have play food. My 2-year-old's like, he's like fake cutting the Velcro onion, because kids have those Velcro foods that they can.
Yeah, they're like a little.
Yeah. He's like, I'm cutting an onion, Mama. I cry. I was like, so that's how I got rid of him in the kitchen. I suck an onion, buy them. So is that all that you have going on? Not all, because that's awesome. What do you have anything else going on, Akashi?
Me? Yes. So tomorrow, obviously, the cabbies are going to be visiting Josh and Artemis. And then on Friday, we have Chrissy Newton coming to Cab.
That's gonna be good.
I know, it's really
She's
cool.
awesome.
So next week we have Ryan Sprague, and we're super excited about that as well.
Ooh.
And you guys need to catch Deb's Data Dojo. You know, she's pumping out some great stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a podcast that you just have to listen to that they're
Okay.
doing a fantastic job. So it's under the Calling All Beings, and you know where to find me. I'm on Twitter and probably on every chat.
So I have your Twitter on here, but I'm gonna put I'm gonna add the Calling All Beings channel underneath as well.
Thank
So
you.
for me on Saturday, I have UIP Book Club at 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK, I guess. And we're going to be talking about Operation Trojan Horse. And it's usually the same people. So Graham Rendell, Dan from the Signal usually pops in at some point. Olaf Rockner, Vinnie Adams, Sean from Witness Citizen, and we have other people joining us this time. So it should be pretty fun. It's, obviously, like we try to get the authors, but you know, John Keel cannot come because he's in the Great Beyond. So we just added some extra people, and I kind of want to start doing like a
He might still be there.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do like a seance live.
Oh God. That would be cool. Though.
There's a show.
Well, what if he like comes into my body and I start talking like John Keel or something weird? And then I like come back, I'm like, what happened? Like,
like nothing. No, nothing happened.
Yeah, so we'll do that, and I have a post on Twitter somewhere if you want to like DM me book suggestions or add it under that thread, because I made a thread about having like the Twitter Spaces once a week starting in February, hopefully. And so more people can participate. So if you want to get your book suggestion in, you've got a couple days, or you can hop in the live feed and throw it in there too. So I kind of want to start having like a rotating like guest besides the author. So, you know, we have Nathan this time, and I know I'm going to want to keep everybody, but I only have like I think StreamYard only fits 10 people. So I had to keep one spot open in case we get an author, but you know, it's fun to do it with the same people, but it's fun to also rotate people. So
definitely. There's a fresh perspective too.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Josh and Artemis to read a book and come on. Because that was supposed
she
to
gave
be
you the look like
So fun fact, this was supposed to be our thruple thing. We were supposed to be UAP thruple book club, and they're like,
I know, honey.
Life is happening.
We're still the UAP thruple or whatever, but I mean, in reality, will Josh and I really get to read books?
It's all right, Vinny. If you're sleeping, if Vinny's sleeping, Vinny's probably sleeping, but I feel like he lied and said that he was listening to the book. So he hasn't read it, but he's been listening to it.
Who, Josh?
Vinny.
Oh. I was like, Josh hasn't been listening to a book? I was like, I call bullshit.
Poor Josh. It's like, I read.
We're making up things about him.
I'm smart.
No, yeah.
He's like
research and stuff, but I'm like, he hasn't been listening to a book. I'm with him. But anyway.
Anyways, book club will be more available to everybody.
But it's just reality. The amount of free time that we have.
Oh, I get it.
It's not never or anything, but it's just like between our show when we do and don't have the girls, and then our own free time just together, it's like it's just reality.
Well, maybe like the Twitter space will work more. You can like come hang out, you know.
Yeah, of course. And if there's like a movie on the same book, we'll watch the movie.
We're gonna have movie night.
Yeah. No, we wanted to. It was because
it's like when your teachers hung over and they'd roll in that big ass TV when you were in the 90s.
Oh my God! Watch this.
Well, you guys know that documentary from Area 503. Have you guys heard of that? It's coming out Saturday. It's called Who's Lou? It's about Lou Elizondo.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't know if that was like a real thing or if people were just making
it. Is. Yeah. There's a lot of controversy around it, but
oh, really? It's coming out Saturday.
I mean, I'm looking forward to just like, you know, seeing what it's about and stuff. But anyway, we were hoping that it would come out earlier in the day and then we would watch it and then talk about it. But it's actually going to be streaming while we're watching the he didn't finish that, I don't think. Did you actually finish that?
Yeah.
Oh, he did. Okay. Okay. Josh finished one audiobook.
Josh says he finished an audiobook.
No, that was
guys, if
probably
you're wondering.
that was before he moved here. So anyway, no, sorry, but anyway, it's that documentary is coming out while we're streaming, so we might play a bit of it live and like see kind of what it's about, see people's opinion and talk about it. Maybe in like that, I think it's the second hour. It comes out like at 9 p.m. Eastern or something. So we'll see. But it is an interesting, it looks good. I mean, if you watch the trailer, I don't know. But
well, everybody go watch that too.
Check it out. I want
it's
to check
very
that
quiet
out.
now, but you know, we'll see.
Sorry, I just saw this comment. If you've listened to the Ross Coulthard book In Plain Sight, the audio version, he reads it. But he's right. Stuart's right. Like his Tom DeLonge voice is just
He is so
great.
good.
His impersonations are great.
Yeah, I did hear
so
that. I
good,
have
the
the audiobook.
voices.
I haven't heard it though.
The
my
problem
God,
is I was trying to
hilarious.
listen to the audiobook at sleepy time, and Ross's voice is very soothing to me. I don't know if it is to everybody, unless he's doing the Tom DeLonge voice. But I would just like fall asleep.
Yeah.
So audiobooks don't work for me because I have to listen to it at nighttime, and I'm already tired and all tore up from the kids and like
That's like me
mom
with
life.
reading. If I do it at night, like my eyes will just get so heavy. And even if I'm like sitting upright with like full lights and everything.
Well, you know, you can read these books as bedtime books to your kids. My kids are enjoying Operation Trojan Horse. I mean, like I let them pick a kid book first.
Yeah.
They each get to pick a kid book, and then I sing their song, the Twinkle Twinkle and whatever they want. And then I'm like, okay, now to John Keel's
like
Trojan
I'm
Horse.
just like a jukebox for my girls at night.
Oh my god!
Like they
I have to limit it because the kids make requests.
Each
Sing
and,
Elsa,
like,
sing Elsa.
Yeah, so I sing. Well, like I have songs that I like made for them. Like
yeah, I have one for my son that I made up.
So like I sing those that they ask for, and then they're like Twinkle Twinkle, and then like my youngest will be like ABCDs, and I'm like, yeah,
I know, right? Yeah,
jam. That's my jam.
You're a jukebox.
ABCDs, and they're like Twinkle Twinkle. I'm like, no, I already sang that, and she'll be like her and Mia song, and I'm like, I already sang that, and then she's like naming songs from daycare, and I'm like, you know what, mommy doesn't know those, so
I'm not doing Wheels on the Bus right now.
I'm like, oh my god, how many more songs?
Now it's 8 o'clock. You're still not sleeping. I've sang all these songs. I want to read the UFO book to you, and
yeah,
you just want me to sing songs. It's hard because you're like, I want to cherish these times, but then you're like, oh my god, if I had to sing Twinkle Twinkle.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get bossy, like sing Twinkle Twinkle.
And then my other daughter has all these requests. And like during Christmas, it was like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Like now I know all the words, but at one point I kind of forgot some. So I would just like,
your own version
sing in between. And I'm like, oh, I really need to like read these lyrics more. But yeah, you do have to cherish the times. But you know what they say is like the days are long, the years are short. And that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I want guys, but it's so true. So true.
I miss like that little useless grub stage where they're just little babies. But yeah,
the newborn stage was like my
listen to my audiobook.
Like
You
an
sent
unpopular
it.
opinion. But the newborn stage was definitely the best.
Yeah, because they're just useless grubs. They just sleep
and they're so cuddly, and they just And you're all hormonal, like. And you're just like staring at your baby, crying your eyes out, and then you're like, "Holy fuck, I need sleep!" But also, I can't stop looking at you.
Yeah, moms are definitely creeps. Like in the beginning, you just like stare at your baby.
God, yeah,
it's super weird.
Like now,
I've never seen the ears so small. I was like, their ears are like small, and they're like flat when they come out, like little tiny, like weird fingers, like little alien. I swear that my second son looked like the alien that comes out of the head, in Men in Black.
Oh, really?
Like,
I was like, go ahead and say that my girls were like adorable when they were babies. Oh my god!
The first one was a gorgeous baby. The second one looked like he was alien cute. He looked like a little alien.
He's gonna love knowing this.
Oh yeah, he's gonna listen to this one day, or maybe not, because
he'll be like, Mom.
He's like,
yeah,
okay.
Well, like my eldest, like, because she's like 4.5, almost 5, and like. She knows that I was like working from home, but I did it in my old job as well. But now she's like, oh, you work on your phone like a lot more instead of like the computer and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, mommy like does new work. And I'm like, and because she knows what YouTube is, I'm like, mommy and Joshy like do like videos on YouTube. And like, wow, really? And I'm like, she knows. And like, she'll watch these kids like playing with toys. It's like, it's ridiculous, but it's really cute. Like,
It is cute.
it is
I
cute.
had something on. My son's like, "Is that Wytch Cafe? Is that Wytch Cafe?" I was like,
Oh, that's funny. Well, like,
you're listening?
well, there was one time I was when that one time I was abducted had Kelly on. They know Auntie Kelly, so they were like, Auntie Kelly, is that Auntie Kelly on there?
Oh, so
It's
cute.
so cute. But then they swore like so much. So I was like, shit, I can't watch this in front of them. I was like, yeah, that's Auntie Kelly, and then they could turn down the volume.
They're swearing. Go the F to bed.
Yeah. All right, let's get the fuck to bed, girls. Let's go. Let's go.
Holy shit, they're saying a lot of bad words.
Oh, both my kids.
Anyways,
you know better not to. I'm like,
so
no, don't
hang
say that.
out afterwards, guys. Thank you everybody in the chat. Everybody's information is in the description. If you're listening on Anomalous Podcast Network, thank you so much. Give your feedback there if you can, however you can. And if you're looking for ways to support the channel, I think everybody here has their how you can support them, whether it be following their videos, subscribing, sharing, or buying a coffee. All that information is in everybody's links. So everybody have a great night. I'll see people all week. It sounds like between everybody, we're going to have another action-packed week. So I'll see you around. Have a great night or day.
Thank you.